Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 4. Our member are Izzah Syafiqah binti Nur Siddiq, Nur Minar binti Muhammad Yassin, Nur Shifa binti Rozi, Nur Najira binti Muhammad Roslan, Tengku Batrisha binti Tengku Rizal, Wan Syamimi binti Muhammad Soyun. Today, we would like to discuss about India nuclear security. Next slide. For the introduction, International Atomic Energy Agency was defining nuclear security as a tool to prevent or detect and respond to the international malicious acts that are involving radioactive substance that are targeted at the facilities or activities. Besides that, it was aimed to protect people, property, society, and the environment from the harmful effect and from the ionizing radiation. India is one of the countries that have nuclear power. At first, the nuclear power being generated to become one of the source of electricity at India, but due to a certain reason, India had made their own nuclear weapon. In 1944, Homi Bhabha was developed a program named India Three-Stage Nuclear Power Program to secure the country's long-term energy independence through the use of uranium and thorium that had been found in the monazite sand at the South India through their first institution, which is Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. Early in 1946, their Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru had said every country will have devices that are used for its protection. India will develop their scientific research that are used the atomic force for constructive purpose. But if India is threatened, it will be inevitably try to defend itself by all means at its disposal. Next slide. So in 1956, India had first built their research reactor, but because due loss to the China in Himalayan border war in October 1962, India had developed the nuclear weapon as a means to deterring potential Chinese aggression. In 1964, India are ready to develop their nuclear weapon. On 1974, India had tested their first nuclear weapon with the code name Smiling Buddha under the administration of Indira Gandhi. The next test was begun in 1998, known as Operation Shakti, as the response to the United States and Japan that imposed the sanction on India. The test of plutonium produced in Canadian supply and raised concern that nuclear technology supply for peaceful purpose could be diverted to weapon purpose. This also stimulated the early work of the nuclear supply group. Next presenter, please.
Okay. So these are some of the strengths and weaknesses of India's nuclear security. As for the strength, the first one is the availability of materials, whereas all radiological and nuclear materials in India are controlled and accounted for by the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, AERB. Any institution which requires such materials has to follow a includes possession of a valid license and purpose of the material request. Scientifically speaking, these materials cannot be used to develop even a dirty bomb. Next is the transportation. Nuclear materials are transported with a heavy security cover provided by multiple agencies. There are also coordinated patrolling by these different security agencies to avoid leakage and exposure of material. Plus, specially designed vehicles are used for transportation of radiological material. Yeah, also, next slide, please. So India's management in terms of human resources and insider threat also was quite excellent. Installations and security personnel such sites are specially trained to handle incidents. Training programs on numerous procedures, including emergency operating procedures, are conducted in batches to prepare the staff for all emergencies, including floods, tsunamis, cyclonic storms, earthquakes, and fire. Next, the decommissioning and disposal of nuclear waste in India is based on procedures and guidelines issued by the AERB. These approaches are based on several kinds of waste which is generated during operation of nuclear power plants, which is low and intermediate. High-level waste spent fuel. Waste radiation, the government of India has decided to install mobile radiation detection systems in with technical support. The National Disaster Management Authority has not been able to identify appropriate vendors who could supply such equipment yet, though have been sanctioned. This is something that must be attended to on a priority basis. Next presenter.
Okay, for weaknesses of India nuclear security, the first is the security agencies do not have adequate ability to deal with the crisis. India has a higher population in urban place, so it will be higher risk for place that are exposed with nuclear radiation leak. But security agencies do have emergency exercises to deal with issue, but did not have excellent preventive mechanism. Most of them are not conducted the emergency exercise through integrated way by involving multiple agencies. As consequences, it will lead to different coordination and instruction. Okay, for the second is India did not have nuclear security forces. First, India should provide a special security force that specializes in protecting nuclear facilities only. Reliance on the Central Industrial Security Force, CISF, will increase the risk of threat. CISF has a broad mandate in protecting India nuclear security as they involve in various areas including the government building, airport security, and the Delhi Metro. So it will be difficult to focus in protecting nuclear security. Okay, next presenter.
So for the nuclear cooperation, India with US, GCNEP. GCNEP is a global center for energy partnership. It is aimed to deepen the dialogue on nuclear and other radioactive material security by collaborating on advanced projects in the field, for example, for future technology with a wider inclusion of agency of both government and relevant entities. It is used for research by Indian government and visiting international scientists. MOU was agreed during the third US-India 2+2 ministerial dialogue that held in New Delhi on 27 October. This MOU is to promote cooperation on initiatives aimed at giving an impetus to nuclear safety and security, research and development in nuclear science and technology under various schools of GCNEP. So US Congress gave a final approval to an agreement facilitating nuclear cooperation between the United States and India. The deal is seen as a watershed in US-India relations and introduced a new aspect to international non-proliferation efforts. So next we move on to the wider nuclear cooperation. India and US has signed a civil nuclear cooperation agreement in 2008 after the International Nuclear Suppliers Group agreed to relax the international nuclear trade restrictions against India. The US reaffirmed to continue strong support for India's permanent membership in a reformed United Nations Security Council, as well as for India's early entry into the Nuclear Suppliers Group. NSG is a group of nuclear supply countries that contribute to the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons by controlling the export of material, equipment, and technology that could potentially be used in their manufacture. Both countries, US and India, will build on the international recognition of GCNEP and also reinforce the two countries are partners for nuclear and radioactive materials, as well as the jointly developing and delivering training and other capacity building opportunities for regional and international partners, including their online content. So next we move on to the challenge for India nuclear security.
Okay, for challenges for Indian nuclear security, the first challenges is there were no regulation in India's nuclear sector, meaning no nuclear security policies and practices in India. India's nuclear regulator, the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board,
AERB is not entirely independent of the Department of Atomic. So in order to address this situation, they need a nuclear safety regulatory authority, NSRA bill, to create a more independent nuclear regulator. Because they need to understand that no country has a foolproof security, as no country has the capability or the capacity of the nuclear security. So they need to pass the NSRA bill to have a positive impact. Internally, it will improve their security, safety, and regulatory practices. Externally, it will strengthen India's nuclear security credentials among the larger global nuclear community. Next slide. Second, Second is they were lacking confidence, self-confidence about their own achievements in nuclear safety and security. Uh, Narendra Modi need to take some initiatives, and he did announce India will be hosting a WMD terrorism summit in 2018. But from the event, we didn't hear anything about the summit since the announcement from him. Therefore, Modi government must go ahead and table and realize by the NSRA bill, in addition to replace the ARB, which the bill seeks to establish a Council of Nuclear Safety (CNS) under the leadership of the Prime Minister. Next presenter.
Okay, so for the conclusion, India could demonstrate more confidence and clarity in the essential elements of the country's nuclear security practices, while there has been far more demonstration of confidence and clarity over the years. More public outreach with regard to nuclear matters would be helpful. So, and other countries can help mainstream India in the global nuclear order, pursue India's entry into the Export Control Organization, especially the NSG. And India and USA may consider conducting radiological search joint exercises and collaborate in nuclear accident training exercise (NUAEX). In a nutshell, India has done a fairly good job in securing nuclear materials and installations, but the excessive secrecy around the subject has harmed India's reputation. So India must do better job of cooperating with others and making its achievements more transparent. That's all from us. Thank you.